there have been various occasions when feathers have appeared from nowhere at very meaningful times in my life. But the one I want to share with you is the time when my husband was very ill. He was in hospital and I was worrying about it. I was sitting in the chair thinking about him and asked my family who are no longer with us, who are in spirit, to help me. And I suddenly found myself being very motivated to go to the bookshelf and where there are a number of books, some of them old, some of them new. And I went over to them, and every single item that I picked up, not necessarily a book, but something that might have been on the shelf, related to my father. And I felt very much that my father was with me. He was in spirit and he was helping me. In the morning, I went out to the car and I have never seen so many white feathers as there were on that occasion. I have sometimes joked that quite a few birds must have clashed over the car, but it was strange that they were only on the car, nowhere else, just on the car, on the doors, on the windscreen, on the roof, but nowhere else, not on the ground or anything. I felt that it was quite significant. And indeed, when I opened the car and got inside, there was a feather on the seat next to where I would be driving. So I felt that was very special. And on the occasions when white feathers, and they are white feathers, have come down or have suddenly appeared in very, very unexpected places, I have saved them. I have actually got a box of them, but this particular one that I'm going to show you now is very special because it is the sort that was covered my car. So there is one element that I felt was particularly special. But the reason that I was looking for books was because I wanted one book in particular. And it was one that I gave my father when he was ill in hospital himself. And he had told me that he had had a particular edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. And it was a very early edition, which he kept in a trunk when he was in the Navy in his 20s. In fact, he collected old books, rare books, and unfortunately, one of the ships that he was on was torpedoed, and all of the books went down into the ocean. And he often referred to them and told me how much he loved them. And I knew that there was a particular version of the Rubaiyat that he had, that he mourned. So when he was in hospital, I bought one for him. And here it is. It's got very beautiful illustrations. And that was what made it so exceptional in its day. Here is some. And yeah, they are very special. Here they are. And the reason this book is special, apart from the fact that I gave it to my father, is because when my mother died and the house was being cleared, my friend, who is clairvoyant, said to me that she had a message for me from my mother. And the message was, look inside everything. Needless to say, when I was emptying out the drawers and the boxes and all the myriad of things that are in a house when you're actually clearing it, I did try to look inside anything. Nothing materialized. And so the message remained a mystery. Towards the end of the session, I said to my brother, could I have the old books, some of which I had given to my father because I started a collection of vintage books on behalf of him. I used to go and buy them whenever I saw some for sale. I'd buy one for him and one for me. And so now I actually have quite a decent collection. But anyway, at that time, I gathered up the books and put them in a box, and they were forgotten for some months. And then one day I thought I'd better clear out the box. And at the bottom was the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. I opened it, and what was particularly special is I had written an inscription, and my father had actually written a message to me that I had never seen. So it is extremely special to have a message from somebody that you love dearly. And he pointed out a particular part of this famous poetry. It wasn't a famous bit by any means. It was a particular stanza that meant something to him. So immediately I rang my friend, the clairvoyant, to say, I think I found what my mother had been telling me to do. And she said, oh, I've got a copy of Rubaiyat. And she was sitting in a chair, and she reached up, because she told me she was reaching up to her bookshelf, which was just above her chair. She picked out the book, the Rubaiyat, and it fell on the floor, and it opened at the exact stanza that my father had written to me in the book, in the message. So all in all, this book and feathers are extremely important to me. Now, believe it if you will. Some people will be extremely skeptical, I'm sure, but I can assure you this happened. I have no particular explanation, except it means a great deal and makes me feel that our loved ones are with us even when they pass.